All right, let's do an audio check real quick.
Audio check.
Everybody test their
check
mics.
1, 2. 1,
check
2.
2, 3, 2, 3.
And check 1, 2.
Are we live?
We're not live.
Hello.
We are recording.
That's recorded live.
This is live.
Raw always counts. If it's recorded live, it counts as live.
Oh,
In front of a live studio audience.
it's
Where's
recorded
your wife?
live. So this is live. She's not here.
Oh.
She's gonna watch us
That's a creepy question, John.
If she was going to be our live studio audience.
Where's your wife?
Where's your wife?
She's going to be our live studio audience. Now we just got to use the Noid.
The Noid. He's
The Noid.
look at all this audience we have around us. They're all watching all the time, John.
What in the shit
Always
is that?
watching.
Just what I need to think about.
What's what?
Every time I'm at your house, Danny.
Godzilla Donatello?
Oh, that is what that is. Yeah, it's a kaiju.
Really?
It's a kaiju Donatello. It's crazy, but it's awesome.
Why does that
always in
exist?
the corner. I don't know. They did kaijus of all four turtles and Bebop and Rocksteady.
I just, I want to be in the room when somebody walks in and goes, I think there's a market for this.
I'm right here.
And then,
I'm the market.
then they end up being right.
I like weird
Yeah.
things like that.
And they're right.
Should we redo that sound cue?
Ladies and gentlemen. Okay, I think we're all set.
That's good apple juice.
This is some good apple juice.
John, Danny,
Yo!
what up?
What's up,
You left your
dude?
Geek Easy glass
Yeah.
in my house.
Yeah, I know.
This
So
one right
I'll
here.
get it too.
I was pretty
Oh,
hammered.
I'm sure.
That was a night.
I forgot that cup existed.
That was a night.
That was a night.
Yeah, like I said, Jared and I started drinking full glasses of scotch at 1 p.m. Like these glasses with ice and then up to here with scotch.
He's not
No
exaggerating.
mixing, no nothing.
He's
Just,
not exaggerating.
Oh, man.
So, God, I can't wait till we get that limo next.
So we're about to record the first episode ever
Never.
of the Geek Easy Podcast.
It's never
It's the
happened
first
until...
57th episode. 55th
No,
episode?
no.
55th episode.
All that stuff, none of that stuff you guys did before me counts.
Okay.
You're only going to confuse my fans. So.
It's the first
I know.
second prequel to the 57th
I know.
episode.
Hey, you shared that teaser picture for the episode. You know how many people came up to me at the show that were like, "I can't wait till you start that show. Where's it gonna be?" And I was like, "You could listen to it right now, bro. I've been doing this show for 3 or 4 years."
See the kind of see the kind of star power I bring to the show.
I know.
Yeah, I decided I didn't decide. We talked about bringing this podcast back, and I was like, we should give this a run. This will be great. And then I stopped getting on the internet.
Yeah.
Probably bad timing.
Well, actually, to be entirely fair, you said something about the idea. My idea was to do a different podcast. Was just to do a podcast because you were talking about how much Dan Harmon drinks on his podcast. I was like, how come we don't have a podcast where we just get drunk and talk about anything we want to? And you were like,
that would have to be a different show.
Well, that morphed.
Those are the subscriber only.
yeah.
That morphed into me joining the cast of the Geek Easy. So.
Nice.
So this is we're shooting 2 vlogs tonight.
We're shooting 2 vlogs.
We're shooting
okay.
2 vlogs tonight. So this vlog is actually going to go up the day we put the
podcast.
The day of the podcast.
Gotcha.
So this is going up. You can go listen to the podcast right now. We're about to shoot the podcast.
Oh, it's a singing podcast.
It's a singing podcast.
I'm in.
So we're going to shoot the podcast, pause this video, go listen to the podcast, then come back and we're going to talk to you guys after our first episode.
Subscribe to it and follow it and rate it and do all those things for us. All those things.
All right, we'll be right back.
I think you're annoyed.
What do you think?
We did it.
We did it.
2.5 hours.
2.5 hours.
2.5 hours. Which is only about 30 minutes longer than so that's not so bad.
Well, it's good for. It's good for like an inaugural episode, right?
Yeah,
for our very first episode ever.
Yeah, for our first episode ever.
Yeah.
We spent a lot of time explaining things about
like the
show,
format, and welcoming the fans and thanking them for. Yeah.
It was good.
Making fun of me.
Did I totally ruin it?
No, you did. You did great. I think the whole discussion was awesome.
Okay.
So I'm happy.
Good.
I'm happy.
Good. I had fun.
Good. I'm glad you had fun. I'm glad you're here.
I'm glad to be here. How long you guys been doing the? When were you doing it? So really, this is the 55th.
It's the 55th episode.
Okay.
I did a couple episodes by myself because when I started this, I just knew I wanted to get like a new podcast going. Yeah. Well, the first few episodes, I did like interviews and stuff. Like
cool.
I interviewed a couple people that were in the toy industry and stuff like that, and that's what they were. And it wasn't until I asked John to join me for an episode to talk about a movie or something. And then that's when John and I just started doing it regularly as like co-hosting. And then it was the Man of Steel episode that really solidified like what this show was.
This show is.
Yeah, because that was the episode.
Did you ever listen to that episode?
That was
longer than
that was over 3 hours.
Yeah.
Over 3 hours of me and John talking about how much we hated that movie.
That's amazing.
It was ridiculous.
Yeah, that's amazing.
But
you want to do some homework? Go listen to that.
But it's legitimately the episode that like kind of made this like that's when we decided what the show was. That was the episode that kind of like cultivated our following. I mean, like that was the one.
Yeah.
So
because we used to like anytime there was a big nerd release, usually comic books, but like I don't think we did we do the first Turtles?
We talked about we did a special episode just on the trailer for the first Turtles.
Oh, that's right.
Remember that? Because we were like, what is this monstrosity when we saw that trailer? And so we immediately talked about it on a podcast. Yeah.
But like anytime there was a big nerd release, like we do a whole episode on, and we would do like scene for scene sometimes. Go through the whole movie.
Yeah, that was exhausting.
Well, I did one of the Fast and Furiouses with you guys.
Yeah.
And we did scene for scene, and I kept feeling bad. I remember like scene for scene. And I'd try to skip ahead, and you'd be like, oh yeah, no, first then this. I was like, oh, I guess this is the format.
Well, it only was that format because we really did that with Man of Steel, I think,
right.
And so we kind of followed that with some of the ones that we didn't hate as much as Man of Steel.
We try to do that for movies we like to see if it worked.
Yeah,
but I like what we've kind of because we've kind of reformatted a little bit for this new launch, and I kind of like the topics thing. So I'm curious to see how that plays out.
We covered 4 things tonight.
Yeah,
we covered NXT TakeOver.
Mm-hmm.
So if all you guys, all my fans are wrestling fans.
Yeah.
So if all you guys want to hear all my thoughts on NXT TakeOver, now you have to go listen to the podcast.
Boom.
It's live right now.
Boom.
And then we covered what was
the Detective Pikachu trailer.
We talked about the Detective Pikachu trailer.
Yep.
Then we talked about
Netflix
movies and. You can hear me complain about how much I didn't like Outlaw / King.
Yeah.
And then we talked about the new She-Ra.
Yep. So I thought that was really cool. I like the format of having a main discussion topic, but then 3 additional topics, one that each of us brings to the table.
Yep.
I think it's going to work out pretty cool. So
how'd you feel about the length?
So on a normal basis, I think we should try to stay under the 2 hour mark.
Yeah. So it's like 2.5 hours.
90 to 120 is a good target.
Yes, I think that's a good target because we don't want it to be too long where people get bored and turn us off, or it's just because people tend to listen to podcasts when they're on a drive or when they're sitting at work doing stuff, and so we want it to be like a good amount of time where it gives them time to do whatever they're doing while still listening to us, but not too long to where they can't finish us, and not too short. You know what I mean? You gotta find that nice,
So just on a FYI for me, like if we kept this open, I'd be much easier.
So you can see the time?
Yeah, to watch the time and kind of see the time clock going.
Yeah, I was kind of
the couple times you pulled it up, I would be like. So we've got the setup here.
So we're at 2:35.
Real look behind the scenes. So what I'm trying to say is like the couple times. Oh, that's not a good shot. Okay. A couple times you like brought up this, and I could see where we were at, I was like, oh man, I've been talking too long. You know what I mean?
Gotcha,
Okay.
Well, because I had our show notes up at the
right.
I was kind of going back and forth between the show notes and
So I don't know if we could.
I should probably just multi-screen it. I was
gonna say we could multi-screen it, or maybe even if you know
what.
what?
If I bring this over and then
I feel like we're making this real complicated. Next time I'll just put the timer up on my phone.
There you go.
And it can just run, we can just run there.
That's a good idea.
Rather than trying to or that can work either way.
I was going to suggest that, but I thought it would be more important to let you get there yourself.
Thanks, John. Thanks, you're so helpful.
Nice. All right.
So I thought it was good. I'm excited.
I also am excited. I'm excited to put it out. I think it's a good discussion, and we had a good mixture of stuff that we discussed too. So hopefully people are cool with that. The wrestling stuff is always hit or miss, I feel like, because not everybody I want to talk about it.
Yeah.
I think it was very good.
No.
Well, people are just now that I'm on the show, people are just gonna have to get used to it.
And that's kind of like where I'm at, because I want an outlet to talk about that stuff,
right.
And I think it fits right in with everything else. And I think part of the good thing about, I talked about wanting to put out a show notes in the description that says what we're talking about. If I put timestamps on everything that we're talking about, if they look over the show notes and decide that there's something they're not interested in, they can always skip ahead. You know what I mean?
So they're just always gonna all our notes skip over Jared's stuff. Sorry guys.
If there's a way we can look at stats. And we're just like, everybody always stops listening at this minute mark and starts listening.
Everybody stops at 10 minutes in, and then they skip ahead to...
Yeah. No,
I took down rating systems for the show and just added rating systems for each individual host. That'd be a bad idea.
Oh, that would be bad.
So, Danny, tell them where they can find it.
So the podcast
is up.
It's called the Geek Easy Podcast. If you do a search for it anywhere, you should find it. iTunes, Google Play, Stitcher, Podbean, and YouTube. We are on all of those platforms.
Go find it on YouTube.
Yep.
I use Google
I guess I can
Play.
put a link. I guess I can put a link.
And you should link it, yeah.
I'll link it.
Jaren's gonna do the...
I'll put a link.
Jaren's gonna do the editing on the video.
Gonna do some editing.
Part, so extra reason to watch the YouTube
joint
version.
effort now.
Yep, joint effort.
I use Google Play.
Google Play. That was one of our more recent ads.
No, you're good.
I use Stitcher.
All right. Well... All right.
I think you added that because I complained we weren't on there.
short episode today. John, Danny, anything?
I use Google Play.
Go listen to the podcast. It's
Go
awesome.
listen to the podcast.
It's awesome, and we had a lot of fun.
Yes. Hopefully you will too.
And also, don't forget to make a mess, keep your room clean, always tell the truth, and enjoy the journey.